Now that we have completed half of the levels in Twisted Metal 4, it's about time we cast the spotlight on a familiar face. But there aren't any of those in this game, so we'll have to settle for a familiar name, that of the warmonger who's been in every single Twisted Metal game, General Warthog.
I commanded an army once. It was a great army. Now computers are in command of all the circuitry and firepower. Ha! Well, I'm from the old days, when wars were fought, not calculated. I'll have an army yet that will have no losses, no fear, and no equal.
Our noble aim is to incite an endless war. Exactly what the world was clamoring for in the year 1999. Can't wait to win with this guy. And we will be taking him to an actual level we've seen in a previous Twisted Metal game, Amazonia. Somewhere we've been before, but not some when. This is Amazonia 3000 BC. We have somehow time traveled over 5,000 years into the past. Who knows? Find your way to the top of the ring, and the gods will grant you everything. Back to the poem style of tips and tricks. So here's the level, but something feels like it's missing. I don't really feel inclined to do much battle right now, because it appears there's no music. Did they just run out of budget, forget to license a song for this level? No, they licensed the song that begins with 25 seconds of dramatic keyboard stings, which are barely audible with the way the audio is mixed. But there, the electric guitars finally kicked in. We get to enjoy Knock Off Jesus Built My Hot Rod, and actually engage in some combat now that I feel appropriately amped. They could have effortlessly edited out those 25 seconds at the beginning, like they did with Alien Magnet, just in the last level. But no, had to leave it in the game. So this song is called Chaos, and it's by a band called Scold, which is actually just an artist called Tim Scold. S-K-O-L-D. He's a Swedish artist who got a foot in the door of the industrial metal scene in the mid-1990s. So that's a nice tight-knit community. He's had a job working with those kind of guys ever since. Good for him. This song is actually quite good, at least for setting the mood in a Twisted Metal game. It is put to a perfect use here, but it really is just a flagrant ripoff of Jesus Built My Hot Rod by Ministry. That song also starts with a lengthy, almost inaudible intro segment, and drops down to near silence halfway through the song, just as Chaos does. If you can't afford Ministry, get Scold. I was briefly mesmerized by the mural on the wall, of like Skullhead Medusa or something. Very creepy. And this is the secret area that was hinted at in the loading screen, where we get the lightning pickup. That's why they wanted to bring us here, so that we could shock everybody. Unfortunately, lightning only covers the area around this section with the segments of walls. We get to use it as a bug zapper to severely weaken Goggle Eyes, soon to be finished off. 1 down, 5 more to go. And all 5 of them are lumping up together right over here. This is exactly what you want to see when you're playing as a slow vehicle like Warthog. These gigantic levels cause hunting down enemies to be a huge waste of time. And when you're a slow vehicle, that's what you're going to spend most of your time doing. Is just tracking enemies down as they run around. When they choose to arrange themselves as a grand melee like that, you can just plant yourself in the middle, fire randomly, absorb as many hits as you need because you have such high armor, and maybe rely on a little bit of friendly fire, get some extra damage in there. But for now, I have chosen to break from them and do some more platforming. This level expects a great deal of platforming from you, and as a slow vehicle, it's fairly difficult because you need to use your turbo to get from one platform to the next. Sometimes you even need to jump, but turbo is the better way to do it, and sometimes if you turbo and jump, you will overshoot where you're going like I almost did there. About one more platform to go, then we'll get that sweet, sweet health pickup. On top of a little bounce pad. I don't know why they put bounce pads beneath the health pickups in this level. Doesn't add anything. Just sort of prepares you for when they're gonna do that in the bonus levels, I guess. Extremely powerful pickups if you do manage to get to that final platform. Now we're about ready to take advantage of the next time enemies decide to lump up together. So I'm sure it just won't happen again for the rest of the level. So you may notice we are back in silence. And it's not because the song ended and looped again. This song has a weird habit of just randomly stopping and restarting. It never really makes it to the end. It can make it to the end. I've heard it happen in the game, but it is extremely rare. Most of the time it will stop about halfway through. So if they had cut out that 25-second intro, it would be much, much less noticeable. This combined with the fact that the audio mixing in the game is really, really bad. What you've heard throughout this playthrough is the music volume set to a 10 out of 10, when by default it is set at a 6, which leaves it completely inaudible and wastes all of these licensed songs that they paid all that money for. In this one instance, I will consider that error to be a small mercy. I find industrial metal to be more than repetitive enough without it randomly stopping and restarting every 2 minutes. Anyway, while we're doing cleanup, let's talk about what the manual has to say about the character of General Warthog. He is stated to be 99 years old, which is discontinuity with Twisted Metal 2 and 3, where he is 105 and 107 years old respectively. And it also states that he served in World War I when he was 18 years old, which, if you do the math on that, sets this game in the late 90s, at the very latest, which is further discontinuity because Twisted Metal 3 took place in 2008, and every Twisted Metal game has been in the mid-2000s. An intentional slap in the face to people who care about that sort of thing, which in this day and age is me and no one else. This is what I choose to nitpick about, after we time travel to the year 3000 BC with no acknowledgement or explanation whatsoever. So the vehicle we're in is actually called Trojan. We're going to hear John St. John say so later on. And I feel like it has the highest armor in the game, and this thing is just impossible to break. Its special is a microchip that you leave on the ground, and then when you hit the fire button again, it shoots what appears to be a satellite laser down on that spot, causing a huge explosion that causes a lot of damage. It's a glorified remote bomb, but it is very powerful and a very good special, which obviously uses computers. The General's old man rant about his contempt for computers during his bio was clearly just more nonsense. That special made short work of the final enemy, which summoned an actual familiar face into the arena. Time to fight Axel. I'm starting to feel like there is some kind of meta commentary about the fact that the only recognizable vehicles in this game are bosses that you have to kill. You cannot play as them until they have all been defeated. Kill your past. Destroy the previous vision of Twisted Metal. That is what the mission statement of Twisted Metal 4 is. It's a very angry and iconoclastic game, but I'm pretty much the exact person it is trying to piss off as an established Twisted Metal fan, and I think it's an awesome attitude to have. Burn it all down, TM4. Here's something I don't like so much, though. Another thing that is trying to piss me off and actually succeeding. That secret there. Whatever happened to using cracked textures to indicate destructible walls? They were so good about that earlier in the game. There's something in the manual about how there's 4 discrete areas of the Amazonia level, and all of them have their own secrets, but nothing more specific than that. So you are just simply not meant to find this place. The only way to know about it is to know about it. But now that we have found it, there is a second full health refill in this area. I think it's the only level in the game with 2 full health refills. And lots of very powerful weapons. as well as a pool of the flammable acid. Once we can move again, I will lure Axel in there, set him on fire a bunch of times, which doesn't really matter because he's Super Axel. He has much more HP than even I do, and I have the most HP in the game. So I believe. So that's not going to be a good place to fight him, what with his explosion radius special. Plus we don't have nearly enough damage to kill him anyway. So we're going to have to go wandering through this gigantic level. Up here, on the other side of the spring pad, this ziggurat is directly above the secret acid pool we were just checking out. And in no way indicates that there is a secret acid pool beneath it. Would have been nice if it did. Just on the other side of that ziggurat, there is the series of platforms, which leads to the secret upper area where we get the lightning pickup and the main full health refill. The reasonable secret for the level. I didn't like doing the platforms there, but the AI clearly does. Axel's heading there right now. I'm not even gonna try to stop him. Just gonna go keep collecting stuff. He'll be coming my way soon enough. There he is now, using the teleporter. Fortunately, he did not feel like collecting the full health refill, because it is just standing there waiting for him. But the AI rarely, if ever, goes for that thing. And I do appreciate that as a design choice. That ruined Twisted Metal 3, making them so health refill hungry. And we're about to see a really good bit of AI scripting from Axel here. He freezes me, he attacks me for the entire duration of the freeze, and then right as it's about to end, hits me with his special, which sends me flying a million miles away, so I can't really retaliate. And then he goes to repeat the process. It's very irritating, but it is well designed to benefit the AI. Give it a fighting chance in this combat. Doesn't really stand up to the massive attack, though. Now I have 2 uses of my special left, and after that smart scripting we just saw, the AI just breaks, stands in place, spins around, just waiting for us to drop our remote mine special on him and finish him off. So that's another level down. Next time we'll be heading to the oil rig, but for now, Warthog's ending.
Left, right, left, left, right, left. Company, halt!
General Warthog, driver of the tank Trojan. You've taken the standards for strength, strategy, logistics, and bravery above and beyond those found in the annals of war. You are hereby awarded for your display of will and courage in the face of a greater enemy and an unforgiving environment. One wish made possible by the kindness and intelligence and strength of Sweet Tooth.
The General wants the most powerful army ever amassed in the history of war. And General Warthog will lead that army to many, many glorious victories. General Warthog will rule over all the world's battlefields.
Granted! Ha! Goodbye! Ah!
Okay, sure, Twisted Metal 4. Fine. Whatever. If you want everything to be toys, who am I to argue? That's just one way to rule over all the world's battlefields. Wish granted, I guess. Ugh. Bonus level time. King of the Kill. After that ending we just saw, I've got a hankering for some pain. And pain accessories. I'm only bringing 3 enemies this time. King of the Kill has some unfortunate combinations of it being difficult to push enemies off the edge, but easy to fall off yourself. So we have to preserve our energy bar in case we need to hyperspace out of a potential fall to our death. Also, the available pickups are not very numerous and not especially powerful, so can't rely on them too heavily either. So we will have to try and push enemies off. We do have the means. Our special does push enemies back pretty far, like so. But we need to do that at least 3 times to get an actual kill, unless we push them really, really hard. So I'm trying to set up circumstances where I do exactly that. But I of course notice that we are bathed in horrifying silence once again. The game is playing Chaos by Scold once more. And I thought these bonus levels played a random track when you selected them. But I tried a whole bunch, reset this many times. I was not able to get this level to play anything besides Chaos. So either I am cursed to just hear this song over and over and over again, which is entirely possible, or the bonus levels are scripted to play a specific song every time you select them. But I did manage to knock Rob Zombie off the edge. Get rid of him. Unfortunately, we're running low on supernovas. That's our special. And they take a very, very, very long time to regenerate. They overcompensated for how powerful the boss specials are and made it just super rare that you are able to actually use them when you play as the boss vehicles. Still doesn't balance the vehicle, just makes it less fun. So here's what I was saying about it being surprisingly easy for us to fall off the edge, as hard as it is to push the enemies off. If you get any sort of momentum going when you're at the top of the hill, it is very unlikely you'll be able to stop that momentum by the time you get to the bottom of the hill. And over the edge you go. So you always have to have a spare energy for a hyperspace, because you never know when you're going off of the hill. Managed to inflict a legitimate death by damage. Flung myself off the edge in the process, but more than worth it. Only because Quattro has such low HP, though, was I able to do that. If you've seen me play any of Twisted Metal 3 or Rogue Trip Vacation 2012, you may have heard me complain a lot about levels that have hills in their level structure. That is because the AI is really good at just bobbing up and down the edge of hills, getting cheap pot shots and then getting out of range of your attacks, leading to combat encounters that last forever. This level is also really, really bad about that because the only structure is a hill, but it is an optional level, unlike in those other games. Anyway, Axel's damaged look, we finally got hurt enough to see it. He gets the usual broken arm thing that he has in all of his appearances, but the sides and base of his platform are also visibly covered with blood, and so is his face. His chest has a bunch of bleeding bullet holes in it. It's shockingly grisly how messed up he gets. It's like we found a haunted ROM from a creepypasta. I know I vomited and cried the first time I saw it. And we managed to get enough momentum when we used our special to bounce Calypso all the way to the kill plane. No hyperspacing out of that. Then I just face God and walk backwards into hell. There was simply no other way to conclude today's battles. We saw a lot of mean-spirited stuff from the developers this time around. I think it was mostly well-designed and pretty fun, but the more you think about it, the angrier you get about it. Next time, we return to the present day, whenever the hell that's supposed to be.